host. Tadi tak alihkan hostnya ke jenengan.
So yeah, you still have to have day jobs. It's not.
Apa Kerensa maksudnya?
Ini tadi bicara masalah kesenian di Filipina. Dan sebenarnya di Performer Lab cuma Noel yang digaji dan kerja di sana, yang lain memang harus punya pekerjaan yang lain sehari-hari untuk menghidupi karena masih susah. Ya.
Sama. Mungkin Indonesia juga nggak susah kayak gue.
Di Australia juga sama. Australia is the same. Like
Tessa even Sufi, Fanny, okay, leader of Fanny. Even her government is not support when she want to come international conference for playwrights, but she got it from her work. It means her work is so good. Can pay for her traveling to Montreal. Oh, not Montreal is online. I got the support from my government, from Indonesian government, from Education and Culture Ministry. Rosemary from Australia.
I just want to check before we let more people in.
No problem, because this is not show, so we make this this event like a gathering at the restaurant. Yeah.
So I just want
Hello,
to check.
Rosemary. Rosemary is member from International Center of Women's Rights, based on in US. She's from Melbourne. Kerensa also from Australia. Hello, Rosemary. Thanks for your coming.
Hello.
Yeah.
Jadi mau siapin juru bahasa, saya mau tanya siapa yang duluan?
Yeah, jadi sistemnya.
Dennis, you or Danny, or is there an order?
I will interpret first. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. I will interpret first, and then Puri will interpret second session.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, 5 minutes.
15 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, we just waiting for Tessa. Tessa, I think she still get trouble for the signal.
Connection problems. Yeah.
Yeah, connection. So how? Oh, we still have not.
Midnight.
Oh yeah. Wow. Denise, you are muted.
Sorry,
I see your lips moving. You're muted.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to read Miss Tessa's line. Miss Tessa's play, I'm reading one of the characters.
Okay. Wait. Noel. I can make Noel as a co-host? Oh, I cannot. Yeah, only host that can make. Wait, and Tessa. Mungkin boleh bisa dimulai itunya, siapa namanya? Kalau lagi proses ya Mas, siapa namanya? Mas Reddy untuk OBS-nya. Atau kita nunggu dari Mas Reddy yang kalau udah ready go to live stream baru kita mulai gitu ya, Mas Reddy ya.
Ini sudah saya stream. Sudah bisa. Sudah saya
oke,
stream.
lihat.
Oke, sudah saya stream. On stream.
Oh, sudah on stream.
Ya.
See, can you see in TV Kampung account?
Iya.
Yes.
Jadi mungkin enaknya kalau saat perlu di slot supaya gambarnya lebih cocok, lebih apa namanya, lebih enak buat misalnya spotlight.
Iya, tadi aku
Dan
sudah
supaya kelihatan.
tadi siang aku sudah latihan Kerensa, latihan ini, dan aku sudah bilang bahwa yang penting yang lagi ngomong
Oke.
disorot plus judul bahasa isyarat layarnya. Lupa yang ada tulisannya JBI ya, Mas Reddy, yang judul bahasa isyarat yang pakai atas nama judul bahasa isyarat udah. Iya, judul bahasa isyarat ini.
Jadi itu Pak siapa namanya? Ready yang spotting.
Iya.
Saya.
Mas Reddy dia pakai OBS.
Oke, siap. So shall we start?
Sebentar, itu judul bahasa isyaratnya udah di situ. Oh, udah. Oke, Tessa and ya. Oke.
I will introduce my play.
Okay.
Jadi udah stream di itu ya? Udah on stream di.
Okay, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
From the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's on in YouTube.
Oke. Thank you, Mas Reddy.
Thank you. Okay, selamat malam. Good evening, everyone. It's very lovely to have you here today. This is Women on Stage. Women on Stage, and this event, Culture Over Coffee program, is supported by the Cambodian Living Arts and the Asia Europe Foundation. And we are very, very, very lucky to be able to bring together playwrights from the Philippines and from Indonesia and from Australia and Indonesia. We're going to hear excerpts of plays, we're going to hear the playwrights talk about their work. And I guess what they're trying to do, one of the questions that we are asking is whether or not our work can work in other people's countries and other people's cultures, or is it tied specifically to our geography? So selamat datang kepada semuanya, terima kasih untuk hadir malam ini. Ini didukung sama Women on Stage dan juga didukung sama Cambodian Living Arts bersama Asia Europe Foundation, dan kita membawa beberapa penulis naskah dari Filipina, dari Indonesia, dan juga dari apakah misalnya naskah-naskah kita bisa hidup atau bisa punya hubungan sama negara yang lain di Asia, dan apakah kita bisa bangun link. Jadi kita berharap ada kelanjutan ke masa depannya. So we hope for our works to be shared within the region. So there will be questions and answers. Akan ada tanya jawab, ya, kalau ada di chat. Kalau misalnya suka, cinta, atau tertawa. So you can use your reactions too if you want to give us some love. I'm just going to quickly introduce you to all the playwrights. Yeah, Tong Award, which is about the journey through, Moody and how my background was affected by the pandemic. Okay. Also, we have Christine is from West End, so and she's she is the person who facilitates from this. We are very lucky to have Tessa Beleza. Is that correct? Yeah. She is a playwright. She is a theatre activist. I have to look at the script, but she's one of the key organizers behind Women Playwrights International in the Philippines. And Venice, Guanaflower, Buenaflor, yeah. And Noel Pahayupan, dari Filipina. Tessa mewakili Women Playwrights International dan sudah ke Afrika Selatan, ke satu negara lain, dan tahun ini dia juga dapat kesempatan untuk duduk si utuh di Montreal. Dan dia karena Venice, kita juga mengenalin Noel sama Venice dari The Performers Laboratory Incorporated. And they're also presenting new work. One of the things that I'm fascinated with is that Tessa seems to be flying all over the Philippines and opening opportunities for young people. And you will get to meet all of these artists and ask them questions in your own time. Akan kenalin semuanya dalam waktu sendiri. And then there is me. My name is Ferenza. I'm still, I guess, moderating. I am an actor, and I have the great fortune of being going to be helping read. Aku juga penulis naskah, sudah pemain teater dan teman Helena, dan aku juga dapat kesempatan malam ini untuk baca bersama Tessa. Terima kasih banyak, dan juga malam ini juga punya Ibu Puri, sama Ibu Ragil. The people who are doing our sign language translation. One of the great things in Indonesia that is clever, even the news. Salah satu poin hebat di Indonesia masih memikirkan orang yang tidak bisa mendengar. So thank you, terima kasih banyak. Tessa Beleza, who will be presenting her work, which is called The Mango Tree. I will hand it over to you, Tessa.
Thank you, Ferenza.
This is a work in progress, as read previously during a reading of women's plays at the Cultural Center of the Philippines way back in 2019. It started as I wanted to show how transition happens within one simple community. It's not yet finished. As I told Carenza when she reads it today, she can put in her magic. So maybe by next year, when we come together again, hopefully I have it in full. Okay? So that's it. We can discuss it later. I will value your input greatly. So can we start with the narrator? Thank you.
Karen are still translate on chat,
Okay, I got video
and
on.
then yeah, we're waiting Karen translate. Who wants to read for Tessa script? Tessa, please.
Okay, I'm ready.
Don't be serious, guys. It's not like webinar. It's relaxed event.
Here in the open field, see the rice fields that yield the rich harvests that feed the people. A number of years have passed where harvest and planting have made a cycle. In the further part of the field, where the land is not as fertile, where some places are hard and unyielding, stands a lone figure. The sun is high, but there seems to be a threat of rain. The nourishment of the land is brought by heavy clouds. The lone figure of nature, and through the grass, we see an old mango tree, a tree that the world has forgotten. Like there was a wayside in a previous life within the area, and a seed had fallen, and the seed had taken root. And now it stands, a mango tree. Except for farmers who ventured out from the rice field, or children who pluck at its fruits or play in its branches, the tree does not shelter people. But it does serve a purpose in its nature, this mango tree. And seemingly time forgot. Time has been its friend, as time it is occupied. In its roots lives a colony that had grown over a number of years. A number of people had passed this tree over the years. However hard the road has kept the tree away from people. Unless it was summer and the tree was in full bloom of fruit, did the children come and climb and pay attention or visit the spot, making it safe in its growth. It seems the spot is insignificant, ordinary, and uninteresting, and largely ignored. The colony in its roots. Nevertheless, as in its nature, this spot is also fragile. Its growth is witnessed to its reflect other creatures in that same place. The tree shows the value of life and nature. Lies our stories, our play, our characters, and our drama. The mango tree is sold, where they live, where they draw their sustenance, where they shelter, and where they raise their young, where they transition, where the survival of their clan depends on how the young learn the skills from older members of the community. And in our story, we see that sometimes the young do not always understand the ways of the family. There is drama as our story unfolds. The mango tree serves diverse. There is only one goal: to live. Just like the tree, the colony of ants want to survive and to live, and their lives are just as simple.
Here we go again. I've been there before me. And climbing this tree, but I've noticed lately my steps have been slow. And as time goes by, I feel tired and I can no longer move as fast as before. I cannot keep up with the others when we leave the nest to find food. I cannot follow the trail set before me. What is wrong? And now I cannot even see them. Wait, who are you?
I've been following you.
Yes, I could feel you following me. I was not sure. I could hardly see now.
Yes, I have been following you. I sense you strongly.
Do you sense the other?
Yes, of course. I sense them too.
Good. You are developing that sense. You must learn to follow the trail. I have gone up and down this tree several times in different days and various weather.
In the heat, I can feel the heat from the bark. When we climb, it's hard to follow the trail.
What are you called?
I am called Ino, guilty, one of the elders of the community. It is hard to be a working ant, just to follow those ahead of you. To only follow the trail for food, we get lost.
And sometimes we get hurt.
We do not get the food we need for survival.
Let us go, Inu. Our way. This way.
Yes, I sense the trail. I feel those that went ahead. The other workers,
I no longer sense the trail. I'm not sure if we are in the right path. Do you think the workers ahead are all right? I hope they find food.
I'm sure they are on the right path. There are birds along the path. They peck on us. They eat the other workers.
Do not think of that. Think of what we need to do. Think of the young who need us.
Yes, and our mother.
That is the reason for our hard work, for our being.
Is that all?
Is that not enough? Why do you question the reason for our being? Do we not need food and shelter? That is what we must provide. As workers, we must provide for the colony. There must be enough for cold weather. When there is not enough to harvest, the colony must go on.
I do not know. I really do not know. I just was told to follow orders. Is it the same for the other colonies? Is it just food and shelter? The other insects and animals, do they have the same work for them?
What are you saying?
I am just questioning.
We are workers in our colony. Without our work, the colony will not survive. And if we do not harvest and store the food and care for our young and mother, we will not live. This is why we live, to
Is
care for
that all?
others. Look, if we do not follow the trail, we may get lost and the other workers will be created by those who traveled before us. So it is important to follow the right path.
I know that. Good elder. I have been told that when I started with the other young workers.
So you understand that the scent for the trail up and down this tree is for the workers to look for food. And the trail is there for us and the others who will follow us.
I feel something.
What? What are you feeling?
Rain. It's raining. Run. Let's run for shelter.
But we must stay on the path.
The drops are getting bigger. Come, we need to find shelter right away, or else we might
There
lose
is a
our.
space in the bark. Do you sense it? There is a space
Yes,
in the
there
bark.
is
Do you
heat in the bark
sense
there.
it?
But are we still in the same trail?
Let us get some shelter and go back
Yes,
to the trail.
there is.
If we do not find the scent again, we might not find the trail to find the food.
Come into this shelter. I sense the heat in the bark.
Yes, only the nearest point, otherwise we lose our way.
I understand.
You understand that we need to continue after the rain passes.
Yes, there is the need to go on. But is it safe to leave this cover?
Yes, we must. The rain is gone, no more drops. Come, let us leave the shelter.
Wait, are you
Do
sure?
you feel the trail?
No,
Let
I
us
don't.
go back where we started before the rain and seek the trail again. There, do you sense it? Or do you feel the need to make a new trail? We can make a new trail, but must lead to the same goal and provide food. What do you sense?
I do feel the trail on this side. Let us go.
Learn that, young one. Learn to survive the rain. Learn the scent of the trail. These barks change with time and the weather. But if you learn the signs of nature, that you may survive and do your work for the colony. Do you sense the inner peace as well?
I understand, but I am still not sure where to
I
lead.
will follow you this time. You must develop your sense of trail. You may change and mark new trails, but it should lead to the same goals of the colony.
It is Look, we are climbing higher in the tree. It is windy. Everything is changing. What do you mean?
You understand our trail to find food for the colony. We started from the roots, almost under the ground, and traveled a long way through the bark of the trunk. And now we are at the top of the tree. And the changes in each of the part of the tree, you have to learn to accept these changes.
The winds are very strong at this part.
Hold fast. I have gone up and down this tree a lot, but only followed my elders and learned to adjust to the changes in each part of the journey.
You just did what you were told?
Yes, survival of the colony depended on the workers. We strengthened the shelter, added to the storage, added to the workers, and took care of the mother. We need all this and much more in order to survive.
But the colony grows. If we adapt to the change, do we not need to change ourselves too?
Young one, that is the extent of adapting to change. That we ourselves only adapt and follow the rules to adapt, then that ensures the survival of the colony. And now it will be your turn. In a short time, you'll be an elder and you will teach the younger the same thing.
The wind is getting stronger.
Have you not reached this part before?
No, I never ventured far from the shelter. I have yet to develop my scent of the trail.
So, now you think you can do much of the climbing and return.
I know I
And
have to.
continue this. Our strength is in our numbers. You must learn to follow those who mark the path, and we always work within the colony. We are no use being one.
Yes, I understand. I will learn it all.
Come, let us go higher. I can sense the flowers from which we can harvest and bring home to the food to feed our young. Let us reach the end and these high branches.
Feel the heat of the I feel the heat from the sun. There, I sense the smell of the flowers. We have reached our journey.
Thank you. I'm sorry it's so long.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Nice. Karen, I'm so sorry. Before starting for the second or third play, better so Mas Ready will set up who's on the frame. Yeah. Because it is make confuse the view on YouTube. No info who will reading. Ya, ya Mas Reddy gitu ya. Jadi diinfokan apa maksudnya yang pembaca. Jadi itu semua yang diperlihatkan apa tidak speaker view. Terus juru bahasa isyaratnya mungkin tetap di bawah aja Mas, yang di pojokan kanan. Tetap di situ aja, bukan di tengah. Tetap yang di bawah. Jadi dia tetap di situ aja, yang di pojok kanan bawah.
So,
yang pakai screen biru. Yang pakai screen biru. Biar biar nggak bingung.
tapi ini juga enak kalau 6 kamera.
Yeah, it's because the spotlight directly from the Zoom and from OBS is different, because from OBS need a little bit second to transfer.
All right, so let's keep focused on Tessa and Noel and Venice. Yeah, that was lovely. Can you tell us more about the more about the play? Is it? I mean, it seems like a fable. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? And it's questioning. I guess it's questioning all the changes of tradition, and I guess what it is that you would like to communicate.
Actually, when I was writing it the first time, they asked me the same thing. I said I just wanted to see the conflict between what how do you survive basically in such a simple structure if the conflict is how do you community without just following rules. And then when I was rewriting it for this, because I had to translate it from Filipino to English, I said, this is exactly corporate life, I thought. So I must find a way from fable to to present day. Maybe that would be the best transition, but I haven't figured that out yet. Actually, it's corporate life. It's exactly like corporate life. You cannot go beyond certain formulas. You cannot go beyond compliances, government compliances, but it's almost exactly the same. You cannot, basically. It's well, that was kind of my life for 5 years.
Yeah, I work in a school. Yeah, I feel you. I feel the issues of corporate life. Venice, you have a
Yes,
question
hello.
or a comment?
Hello, good
Hi.
evening. Hi, Miss Tessa. I've
Hi.
actually heard the play before, and what came in mind when I first heard about the play, it was read in Tagalog, I think in the readathon, and it's really about since I'm also I feel like I sensely relate with Ino's situation
Mm-mm.
since I'm also young, and I can really feel like there is a certain resistance in terms of breaking the cycles
Yeah.
or breaking the chains. So coming from and tackling this certain what do you feel like about or what is book can actually break cycles like what Eno is Dilty has this certain imposition about this is what we should do, this is who we should be, and like being in I'm really just
Yeah.
interested to know.
Yeah. Presented that you can change. Diba, there is a line that says, do you want to change the path? And the elder says, you can change the path, but it must lead to the same goal of you in society, because that will disrupt society, that will disrupt the roles, that will detain the change. For me, yes, you can break it. That's what I mean. For us, for the writer, if we know enough of the rules, then we can make our own. We can be strong enough. For me, that's it. That's why we constant else can we do? Can we do this? Can we do that? Then we put now. Can we work with them? Even though we do, it's the language barrier is for me is such a big thing. But we must see. But we also, if we know the rules very well, then we must be able to take the consequences and have something to fall back on. For me, that's offhand. That's how I see it.
What for me, what you say is really, really interesting
Yeah.
because I keep complaining about all the rules here. Some female playwrights in this country. Saya merasa itu sangat susah di Indonesia buat yang muda. Jarang sekali lihat yang senior seperti Ibu Tessa mendukung yang muda seperti ini. For me, it seems quite rare. I may be wrong, mungkin saya salah, but it's very rare to see that's something that I don't see, and yeah, of course there are consequences, but
Yeah, the norm.
something new. So I'm looking at the time. Is there any other questions? I see another hand up, Helena.
Okay. Have you drink your cup? See? My question is not about your script, but about how the playwrights, especially women playwrights, um, women playwrights international in Philippines, and how the connection with the emerging playwrights in there. Is there any association, especially for emerging playwrights, and or there are many or much, because in Indonesia, so we want to learn from you also.
Well, many years ago, there used to be this group who would gather a bunch of young writers in his house, and and then they read their plays aloud. So there was an elder writer, and then they would critique each other's plays. So that's when you're right, we urge people to write because nobody was writing anymore. About 10, 20 years ago, there were hardly any writers. So we would urge people, and then the Virgin Lab Fest came about because nobody was writing. There were no plays. There were no performances. So so that event was for the writer. So about 1/4, 1/5. However, when we studied the statistics, there is one woman writer who has always been revisited. What does that mean? Her play is always staged every year of gender of everybody else. That's our statistics. I remember. It's only 1/4 of those selected playwrights are women. That's our we studied that for the festival for this year's. So let's look at statistics. Let's look at the numbers. How many women are writing? How many are submitting? How many are staged? There is somebody who is staged every year. She's one of the that's our numbers. Does that answer your question? You're mute.
Helena, you're muted.
Almost the same, actually.
Maybe we can learn from you.
So that's why actually I have idea. I have idea to make workshop 1 minute play only for the learn on for all people. They make a workshop only 1 minute play. This the starting point to make people enjoy, and they will feel easy to write a play for stage, because the stage is the fate of stage is still so far from like when you
Because I'm told some people in places in different time zones will be going to bed.
okay.
Mungkin ada beberapa orang di tempat yang lain di Australia, di Labuan Bajo, Mbak Novi dari Labuan Danny juga. There's some people from Australia, it's like 10 or 11 or 12 in the morning for some of the people who are watching in the audience. And we'll come back to this discussion about the differences in the low rates of women and on stage, and script developments in each of our countries. Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, please.
So Vanny's having some problems with her team. Mereka ada masalah internet, there's some internet problem. No,
Enzo bisa bantu.
bantu baca dalam bahasa Indonesia.
Ya, ya, ya.
Okay. Alright.
Mbak Herina juga bisa bantu deh.
Yeah, okay.
Yang mana?
Mbak Herlina bisa baca narasi sama Irma. Kerensa bisa bantu. Iya. Kerensa bisa bantu di Aleza. Play Muslim New Year like that. Each mother will cook a special traditional food. It's called lontong opor to celebrate Eid. Lontong opor is lontong is rice cake in banana leaf, poached, served with chicken opor or Indonesian curry, chicken cooked by coconut milk. And however, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Indonesian government is able to join the made by their mom hand. And lontong opor scripts tell about the trouble and the solution how to pass this culture during the pandemic COVID-19. And actually, this script is made by because I am coach of senior high school theater. So when they have to go to festival, the play. Sorry if my English is not good. Okay, I think we can start. Mbak Lina, ada ininya?
Before we start, maybe Mas Reddy can prepare for the people who can read. Di layar YouTube-nya Mas Reddy di setting ada 3 orang yang baca. Siapa? Aku, layarku,
sama aku sendiri.
Sama layar yang Mas Reddy setting, aku baca yang mana?
Mbak Herlina, Irma sama narasi di awal sedikit. Terus Keransa mungkin bisa bantu di Aleza.
Oke, tunggu Mas Reddy setting dulu. Layarku, layarnya Keransa 3 aja Mas. Sama 1 lagi Fanny Z. 3 layar saja. Yang juru bahasa.
That's great. To people who read it in English, it's
kebalik gitu Mas Reddy. Fanny yang di tengah, juru bahasa isyaratnya di bawah kebalik. Tunggu kalau udah tampilannya udah oke, kita mulai. Padang hujan. Ya, itu Mas Reddy juga tadi hujan, sempat lampu mati, makanya jadi agak trouble. Layarnya yang Fanny di bertiga sama juru bahasa isyarat, yang Fanny sama juru bahasa isyaratnya kebalik. Just be patient. This is technology, guys. Okay, ready now. We start to reading lontong opor. Now I read in Indonesia ya. Lontong opor, tokoh-tokoh Irma 20 tahun pendiam, Ocit 20 tahun tomboy sadis, Aleza, 19 tahun, sombong, cerewet, tapi baik hati. Setting meja makan ruang tengah kos. Irma, Ocit, dan Aleza duduk-duduk ngemil camilan dari kaleng yang sama. Tapi masing-masing sibuk dengan aktivitas pribadi. Sesekali mengumpat sendiri, sesekali ketawa-ketawa, dan tidak lupa makan cemilan itu secara lahap tanpa basa-basi. Sedangkan Aleza sibuk berlarian ke sana kemari dengan gawainya dalam streaming salah satu media sosialnya.
Awas, sebelah kanan lu bro, anak sultan dia. Hati-hati dong, musuh masih banyak. Jangan gegabah gitu dong. Nah kan, mati lu bro. Rasain, gak bakal gue revive. Susah punya rekan tim macam lu.
Aja selesai. Sholat tarawih masih di rumah saja. Dan saat ini adalah waktu kami untuk mengembalikan lagi keseksian tubuh kami. Agar tidak kurus-kurus amat dong ya. Tuh lihat. Camilan anak yatim kalian.
Kaleng biskuit kongguan, lalu kameranya
Para fansku, lihat si Ocit. Selalu saja kan dia sibuk dengan game online buruk itu. Lihat dong mukanya, so serius banget kan?
Woi, Injir, tolong gue.
konsentrasi Ocit yang sedang aduh, iya.
Apa sih?
Aduh, dasar centil. Mati gue. Sono, jauh-jauh dari gue deh lu. Narsisin muka lu sendiri sono. Jangan gue melulu yang dijadiin lahan dolar.
Oh, apa sih kamu kembali HP-ku?
Mereka berkejaran tanpa menghiraukan Irma yang masih melamun sambil sesekali mengambil makanan di kaleng biskuit isi rengginang. Dan tanpa sengaja mereka menjatuhkan kaleng itu. Ketika tangan Irma sedang mengambil rengginang di dalamnya hingga mengagetkan lamunannya. Krumpiang!
Maaf.
Mengambil kaleng itu dan meletakkan kembali ke meja dan Alesa langsung merebut kembali gadget miliknya. Merebut kembali gadgetnya, Alesa lalu mengambil sanitizer, menyemprot dan membersihkannya dengan tisu.
Hah, virus dan kuman di tanganmu nempel semua, Cid.
Lu kenapa Irma? Sakit?
Menyentuh kening Irma.
Kasihan. Orang baik seperti Bapak kos sempat ditolak di makam oleh warga kota di mana beliau meninggal. Sungguh ironi. Karena merubah segalanya dan menunjuk jangan
5 minutes.
Tessa is confusing.
And I want to read in English. My translation is not good.
ya.
I read. Okay. Read it now.
But
Is it? Can we ask questions now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, they're all in a boarding house and they're all playing with their gadgets, right? And then they miss one of them miss. Is that right? I read this. Karen sent us the script, so I tried to fast read it in English.
Jadi
Is that-
benar, Penny?
Yeah,
Di
yeah,
boarding
benar.
house, di kos-kosan.
In
main
the
gadget.
dining room and just enjoying the taking iftari because in Ramadan time we taking fasting. Young people people do that, just sitting
Oh.
and do order personality.
And then since they're in the boarding house, one of them misses their mom, right? Okay. And then because there's the pandemic, they cannot go home. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then and that's when she misses the cooking, the one you said this particular food.
And it's only 5 minutes within maybe around 30-minute place actually. Only some.
And I would like to add a cultural
Okay.
context.
Yes,
So it's not
yes,
just this massive journey that everyone makes, but for a lot of Indonesians, it is working as a janitor or something. This opportunity, one, for a holiday, but two, to actually see your family, only comes at that time of year. And it's a horrible time of year to travel. But people seem to get excited about the traveling because that's the conditions of life here. Please, if there's anyone in the audience who wants to say something or comment on this, and if I'm wrong,
You mean that there's only this short window of opportunity to travel within that Ramadan period? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, holidays are very short. But Yana, can you unmute and put your camera on, please? Yana will probably be able to explain a little bit better.
Thank you so much, Yana, for your
I'm
help
not sure.
to translate it.
Never translated before. Okay.
So you read it tomorrow, yeah?
sorry.
You will read it.
Good. Can't wait.
Oh, sorry, Yana. I thought you had a question. You were translating me. Apakah saya salah dengan pendapat itu tadi?
No. Yeah, really, it's actually a kind of culture in Indonesia. Like it has become a culture. Yeah, actually, mudik is, I guess it's only in Indonesia. We have the term mudik, that is pulang kampung or going to the at the end of Ramadan. Well, I heard that actually in other countries, like in Malaysia, perhaps only Indonesians in the world, we have this culture. Actually, it's not really religious. It's not about the religion, but it's actually a culture. That's going home to parents, to mom, and so on at the end of the Ramadan, on the Eid al-Fitr day.
But I will stay in Bangladesh around 5 years. Go back for
They
taking
have seen us Indonesian like. Just kidding.
But I also think here, like when it was taken away and not allowed during Corona, that I guess the biggest impact was on people who are at the low economic ends of it. Because if they don't go that time, that break's not going to come around for another 2 years. Whereas if you're wealthier, well, you can fly for a weekend or something like that. So it's a really huge impact on people who are earning least. In the Philippines, do you have anything like that? Where there's a mass transit or a mass holiday period or
We do. We have like you said, because of the pandemic, but we have several for the year. Like for this November 1 and 2, normally November 1 and 2 are holidays, they go home to visit the graves of the departed.
Yes.
I always do this. I try to process the action. So the pandemic has caused a lot of conflict or disruption in terms of culture, because number one, you cannot do the regular practice of going home to your parents or reuniting with the family. That is disrupted. I understand. And then also it disrupts the tradition of preparing food, which is supposed simple task, a very simple thing that you will disruption, because you cannot see your family and you cannot have something that you usually have, the food, right? Is that correct? Okay.
Dan Benny, have you performed this play? This play has been performed?
Yeah.
Sudah diperlihatkan. Dan bagaimana reaksinya?
Reaksi dari?
Penonton. Just talk and
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benny.
Welcome.
So, Venice, who's reading the script so we can tell Ready?
I'll be reading, since it's gonna be read in our local language, it's gonna be read in Hiligaynon. So I'll be reading the part of the sister Bianca, and then stage directions will be read by Miss Tessa, and Gregory will be played by Roger, who's our volunteer reader. So I'm also gonna post the script in the chat box, because I have an English translation after the local language, so that at least you have a grasp of what's the
Starting to read. Venice, Mas Reddy, Venice, layarnya Venice, layarnya Tessa, and then once more Roger, layarnya Roger. Yang tulisannya reader, depannya reader Roger. Di setting itu dulu.
And for those people who don't speak Filipino, you can download the script in English in the chat.
Just to clarify, it's in a different language. I don't understand it either.
Oh,
it's in a different island.
Different island. I don't understand. I don't know this
really?
language.
Yes, it's Hiligaynon. Yes.
Hiligaynon.
Hiligaynon language.
Hiligaynon.
Hiligaynon.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And what about in Tessa? What the native language?
Tagalog, Filipino. Filipino is the national language.
Tagalog. So it's different with what is
Hiligaynon.
I forgot.
Hiligaynon.
Yeah.
Hiligaynon. Yeah. Okay, wait a minute. Mas Reddy setting for 3 people. Mas Reddy, Venice, Tessa, and Roger. 3 layar aja, Mas. Kayak tadi. Aku tak matiin layarku. 3 layar dulu. And then juru bahasa isyaratnya di bawah seperti biasa. Yang reader Roger kebalik. Reader sama juru bahasa isyaratnya kebalik. Yang Roger. Only 3 ya. 3 people. Wait. In here also still process to set up. Wait a minute. Yeah, while waiting for setup, you can talk.
The Venice.
Yes.
You can tell.
At this play, are you writing in your mother tongue?
Yes, yes.
Is this your first language?
Yes, yes. That's our first language.
Judul bahasa isyaratnya Mbak Puri, Kak Puri apa yang Kak Ragil biarnya Kak soalnya nggak bisa milih yang mana. Jatahnya yang Kak Puri. Oh, oke, Kak Puri.
Oh, punten ini berarti tadi saya lihat teksnya soalnya. Kan katanya tadi bakal bahasa asli ya.
Bahasa ini, bahasa
Tadi
native
saya
yang
lihat teksnya tapi video saya nggak muncul ya.
Pakai HP ya.
Iya.
Kalau lihat teksnya HP-nya gambarnya jadi mati. Sorry, we got a little technical problem that the translators are putting into the text.
Yang translate siapa?
The cameras go off when they're reading the text because they're using their handphone.
Mbak Ragil bisa itu.
Oh, oke.
Ya.
Sudah ready ini? Mas ready, layarnya udah. Kok hitam ya? Just apologize because okay, it's ready ya. Okay, let's start, guys.
Okay. Venice, ako mag-start?
Yes po.
Okay. The title is Ang Biyahe ni Gregory, The Journey of Gregory by Venice Buenaflor. The characters are Gregory, male, 25 years old, a registered nurse, second-year med student, older brother of Bianca. Bianca, female, 21 years old, fourth-year fine arts student. The setting is the rooftop of a condominium building. Okay, so Manong or Nong is what they call their older brother, and then Mama for mother and Papa for father.
One bat ka pa? Last mo na ha?
JC mo nung kasi alang kita balagaw po dahil nung.
Ay, busy ka man permisi mo barkada. Tapos, gabi ka pagapuli.
Excuse me, group study kami
Group study.
Yes bala. Idol takadaan nung imagine, magna cum laude sa UP Visayas, second year sa UST Med School, stable pa ang work. And besides that, dancerist, songirist, kagkukirist ka pa. So nagpaulan guro sang grasya, ikaw lang na-inform. Wala, may masiling sigat Rio nag-gray sa imo.
Hindi man gid
pero gido amo gid na. So si ikaw bala nung, pakabol ka gid always. Anyways, for the record, it's actually my first time seeing you finish more than 3 bottles of Red Horse within 30 minutes. I mean, it's actually my first time seeing you drink. Mas proud ko sa imo nung for that part.
Puta! This tastes so fucking good kung diri-diritso. Try bala?
Hindi ko na iaga-init. Anda yung tutunlan ko kalating. Pero in fairness nung you look cool while you are drinking. I never knew this side of you.
Hey, I'm always cool.
Cool? Ka-boring? Balasay mo kisa anong?
Ay, grabe ka.
Just kidding. But now, you know what? I'm just so happy you get to enjoy your life more. Deserve mo man nung just go all your life. Gina-please mo lang kami tanan, especially sina mama kag papa. You know what? This time, give it to yourself. Ngitaan, ta na lang kaguro girlfriend nung dapat may nagatatap na sa imo.
Tos, hindi na Ikaw I heard may gaporma si mga guys sa school nyo.
Basta chismis, dasig kagid yan, no?
Pero boyfriend mo na.
No, for now, we're just enjoying the friendship, getting to know each other, ganun.
Sus, showbiz. Anyways, true or not, okay gid na. Basta hindi lang mag-settle si isa kagay Amo ka pa na ma-meet in the future.
Wow, coming from you, Nong. When ka pa naging love guru? Nag-focus ko na sa school nung damo pa ko plans after.
That's good. At least for some reason, you know what you want.
Of course, ginpaglaban ko ginibala ang course ko kanday mama.
And it was a very brave of you to do that. So ano plans mo after graduation?
Gusto ko mag-go into freelance work para maka-explore ko. Pero kabalo ka no, ang greatest dream ko gidya, mag-master sa Canada.
Why not? Go for it. I'm sure damo gina opportunities para sa imo.
Galing ang worry lang gid. You know, day mama, ginatry ko gid be open up ang plans ko after. Pero daw na-feel ko bala nga daw hindi nila gusto. And in the first place, ang gusto gid gani nila is man-nurse kag ma-med school man ko, di ba? Pareho sa imo. Wala eh, bagid yung gina-give nga satisfaction sang art sa akon. It feeds my soul.
Yan na If it makes you happy, go lang. Tag don't mind si mama and papa ha. In time, if capable ka na, just prove them wrong. Siguro just make sure na you make the right decisions along the way. So, as to avoid failures, maybe.
Wala ko yan nakulbaan, yan ang mag-fail.
I don't know yet, but I'm okay.
Well, that's nonsense for me to ask you questions like that. Expected ka naman to do greater things in the future. How do you do that, no? You know, it seems like you have your life figured out so soon.
You'll have it figured out soon. Just take your time. Hindi na pagproblemahe ang mga amuna nga mga bagay. You're surprised? Kasi mas successful ka pa sa uli kaysa sa akon eh.
Ginabla na mian ko si mo nang mo kay ka generous it always with me. And you know, mga words of wisdom. Ay, basta thank you nung kaya nakagid pero mo.
Oo ikaw pa. Thank you too, Bianc, for always backing me up.
Anytime nung constant ya. Proud to be your sister, gani, di ba? Well, lucky ko for that part. Except lang sa fact, bala nga wale, kagid ya mag-joke, kag wala kataro nga fashion sense ang high school ka.
Okay na tani mo. Binawi ta eh.
Tuod manong, I mean, sino man ba lang may taro nga fashion sense nga during Christmas parties ang high school, masuksok siya sang neon green nga polo shirt, kag katin nga red pants, and worst, ari ha, pati shoes mo neon green. Ano ka, Christmas tree?
Grabe ka gidya. Ginabring up
I mean,
ay.
hindi ko to yaka get over. As in, pagkita ko si mo, I was like, what the fuck? Seriously? Neon green? Pero sige lang Nawi man subong kay job forms ka na ginapilahan ka na subong sa mga chicks.
I know, right?
Wow, ka-feeler.
Cheers, Bianc.
To the many triumphs we will encounter and the failures maybe. Cheers, nong. Ay, alas 12 na gali, nong. Mauna na ako sa dalong aga pa klase ko, boss.
Ay, gali. You'll be fine?
Oo, ako pa. Ikaw, okay ka lang, de? Love you.
Fuck. Here you go, world. This one right here is a fucking failure.
The end. Thank you, Roger. Miss
Thank you,
Dash,
Ben.
thank you.
Congrats, Roger. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Hindi na ako nakabasa. Binasa ko siya silently.
Because I was following the script, yeah, and I just heard you read twice, and I'm actually really interested in actors and female actresses. So, are you an actor? This script, like, I could feel this really, really coming alive for me. How do you write? Do you when you're writing, do you see yourself na hidup? Dan apakah Venice itu actress? Yeah, that's my question.
Thank you, Miss Carenza. To answer your first question, yes, I am an actor in the local scene also. So, when I write, by the way, I wrote this when I was 20 years old. I'm now 24. And this is my output during the writing fellowship program I joined in CCP last 2018. This is the 7-minute play actually. And when I write, sometimes I don't necessarily feel for the characters. There are plays that I write because I feel for them and because they are from my experiences. But for this one, I wrote it because at that time, no, at that time, because I'm a mental health professional as well. So I strongly feel for topics and issues like this one. I am always the go-to friend of my friends who are experiencing these things because if we don't talk about this, these are the issues that people might not be aware of. So I have friends who have suicidal ideation, and sometimes they do active and passive planning on how they want to do it. And that's actually the scary part because sometimes you don't see the signs, and sometimes you don't, because sometimes people who are experiencing these things, they carry on a positive surface. They carry on as if everything, they figured out everything. No? So when I write, it's either, going back to your question, when I write, it's based from my experiences, it's based from what I currently feel or what I currently go through, or sometimes they are stories of people that I talk to, and then I get it from there. That's my process of doing it. Yes. And sometimes these are the tone of my friends.
Oh, wait.
So
Felt very real for
I'm
me.
sorry. Wait. Mas Reddy juru bahasa isyaratnya ganti yang pakai yellow screen. Soalnya per 15 menit memang ganti orang. Sorry, I just check for the YouTube.
Um,
Yang yellow screen. Because
so
it's the
Rose,
thank you.
there are opportunities for 7-minute scripts in the Philippines.
Yes, I think yes. In the output for the writing fellowship, that's one good example. So we do stage readings at the end of the play, and I think there are a lot of emerging playwrights as well, and playwrights who get to write 7-minute play, and they came out. It tells that 15 minutes.
Is that part of? I mean, I'm a teacher, so I mean, in terms of writing, I do encourage. I say it's harder to write powerfully in a short amount than ramble for 10,000 words. You know, so other teachers compare what I get my students to write, and I go for quality in their writing in a short amount. Is that actually this idea of a 7-minute play? Because jarang ya, apakah di Indonesia sering atau jarang ada naskah 7 menit atau festival 7 menit? Yeah. I don't think it happens. I'm more that something like 70 playwrights, all, people were camping at the theatre, and it was just 10-minute plays, 10-minute plays, 10-minute plays, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Selama 2 hari, 1 weekend. Cuma di sini saya tidak pernah lihat naskah 7 menit atau festival teater 7 menit, 10 menit untuk dukung karya baru.
The short play in Indonesia, 15 is still literally never heard it.
15 menit
Karena pandemi, tapi yang normalnya jarang. Karena pandemi makanya dibikin short time. Jadi karena menyesuaikan harus video, mereka jenuh nonton yang full, yang panjang. Tapi sebelum pandemi belum pernah kan lihat naskah pendek. Nah,
So
itu
Jenny
maksudnya.
was just saying that there was like a 7-minute maximum, that it's just been a recent thing. Because if you're comfortable, put your cameras on.
Audience first.
and feel more comfortable to join in the conversation. Silakan nyalain kamera kalau mau dan ikut diskusi.
Allegra. Who is it? Allegra? Where from?
Allegra is from Brazil. She's living in Bali and she is a specialist in rangda, the Ancalam and she makes video art and she's theater and she's someone who sees theater as a powerful tool for acting.
Oh, Allegra.
And I think I've met Rosemary once before.
Oh, Rosemary, thank you so much for your coming. You are almost finished. Thank you so much.
It's 1:30 in Australia.
Yeah, it's very late now. You can coming tomorrow, Rosemary. Allegra.
I came for the last 5 minutes of the first show, so I could only listen to the second one. And it's interesting because I'm from Brazil, no? And in Brazil, we do a lot of short plays and we have a lot of competitions and normally students, a lot of students are in acting school. So strong and such a taboo and being a one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Miss. Thank you. And nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Thank you so much, Allegra. I think the culture of the short play is in many countries. It's become a culture, yeah. Yeah, still no.
I think it's a good all start off big, writing these big hour and a half. Always get the finances. I think that's really, really important. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you have to start small, no? I think everything in life, you don't start big. Even if you're a lawyer or a doctor, you start small, you know? And I think in acting is the same. Of course, we have this tendency of wanting to get big and shine, no? But we need to start and plan, like they say here in Indonesia. And at some point, the bigger things, they show up. You know? So I think for young generations, exactly like Venice is, so it's a great start, I find. Already a great start.
And Venice, can you tell us about the program, like how long it was, what sort of process you were taken through, what sort of support you were given? Because I know that there's a couple of people here that are possibly in that kind of arts facilitator business. Not a business, sorry, Ibu Tessa. But do you know what I mean? In that position to, like I'm in no position, but there are some people in the audience who are in that position where they're the same sort of position that you're in, Ibu Tessa, where you facilitate.
Do you mean, Miss, by the writing fellowship program?
Yeah, okay. Where you wrote the play in that fellowship.
Yes.
And it grew from there.
Since we live in Bacolod City, the opportunity actually was from the Cultural Center of the Philippines, which was based in Manila. And usually fellowships like that are sometimes those who only can avail opportunities like that are people nearby, like near that place. No? So people from the regions like us, no? We are very thankful, especially for that year, that we're given the opportunity to really be part of that one. No? So it's really about the opportunities are there, but you also allow yourself to create those opportunities and to be part of those. No? So the process actually, it's like a 14-day. No, it's really long. No? It's like a 14-day lecture and critiquing. It's really about playwriting. No, so they try to create that innovation hub, no, a small innovation hub where they train emerging playwrights and aspiring playwrights who would like to hone their skills in playwriting and to really, because aside from that, it is part of a main festival. So that's what they call the Virgin Lab Fest. No? So that's the main festival. And then we are called, like, if you are part of the fellowship program, you are also honed to at least submit your plays. Probably he's a prolific playwright, and he's the one mentoring us. So it's really like a tedious process of. It's like you took MA in 14 days. Feeling is that, no, it's really full pack, and you get to watch plays in the main festival, and then you critic it, and at the same time you wouldn't notice that, oh, I'm learning from the processes of playwrights who are already established playwrights. You learn from their process, you learn how they write. So sometimes they write from experiences, they write based on their learnings. So it's really like a vast process of different playwrights, and you get to learn from them. And then you also get the opportunity to write your own play. So at the end of that 14-day, you get to stage your play in the CCP stage. No? So yes, through a
And
stage
how
reading.
many playwrights are involved in that little program?
So it's like a national program, and involved is in that nationally, all over the Philippines, there are 10 chosen fellows for that one. And sometimes when you're in the region, they cover for your transportation, for your meals. No, they just because of those opportunities, like what WPI is giving us as well. So yes, so it all started there.
So yeah, we wouldn't be here without WPI.
Yes.
I went to WPI in 2012, but
Yes.
and then Herlina went the following year, and that's where she met Miss Tessa. Yeah.
And without
So
and with being Miss Tessa and without Miss Tessa being in WPI, we wouldn't be in WPI as well. So it's really networking really works. No? So it's really like yes, you just get in more pool of artists, and we are just so happy that they get to tap the honor. An honor.
If I may add,
Yeah.
it started with a cup of coffee.
Yes, exactly. way back.
I'm gonna
Truly.
ask Novi, Herlina, and Veni, sorry. I've been calling her Zeni since the first time I met her, and it's a brain cramp thing. Veni. I'm gonna ask you the same question. Apakah ada kesempatan di sini atau program seperti itu buat penulis muda? Dan Venice, do they have to be all young? Or is there an age limit, or is it new playwrights that could enter that program? For Venice, is there the program you're in? Is there an age limit, or was it just for young? Or
There's an age limit.
Yes, there's an age limit.
There's an age limit.
Thank you, Miss Tessa. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And usually they are really young playwrights. Others are even in school. They don't have to be graduates, so they cater at least 18 years old, I guess. No, Miss Tessa. And then yes, yeah. Roger said age limit is 29. Thank you, Roger. Yes.
Buat kita Kerensa.
For Novi and Benny and Herlina, I'm curious about if there's something similar here. Novi
may I
is
something? Hello everyone. So I just want to know if in Philippines, do you publish playwrights? Do the people buy playwrights?
I do not have the data on sales, on book sales, but like for the Virgin Lab Fest, they are on their 4th anthology. So if you have 12 to 16 writers every year, so every other year they publish, well,
recording in progress.
Yeah, there's no policy for China. No, it's just even like in June, I think in China there's a better program and opportunities, but not with China. We will fight for it.
Melihat fight.
Never any choice.
Fighting.
Yeah. So that's why this event from
Little people, women in theatre, I feel it more than in Australia that you are ignored. I'm not sure. It could be my imagination. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about sick performers here. I don't think it's forced, but we prefer other people. Don't get me wrong, it's my wrong friends. Sorry.
Young playwrights to his house, 5, 6. He taught them. He fed them. And he was a way of do. It means you can live on your pay. I mean, I don't live on a pay as a writer. Some of them, they teach, they act, they do other things. They do plenty of other things. But like Rene Villanueva was an established writer. He did films, he did television. He's a famous writer of Batibot, a very famous television show. So he did a lot of that. And on his own, he brought the writers to the house. He fed them. And then that's where he started the exchange. When you hear the words, and then they critique amongst themselves. And then I forgot to say, a lot of major universities in this country, like LaSalle, Manila, I think UP, UST, they have creative writing centers and they have summer workshops. So you can submit your work, and then they have And then you go through 2-3 months, Silliman University, the major universities, they have workshops where you can hone your craft. Whether or not you create a career or whether or not you make it on stage, it's a different story. But it's really up to the writer or on the individual to create the opportunity for yourself. And if you have that, and then for the others. This thing with Venice and Noel, the Curis Festival every year, that grew out of one small idea. And then we just kept working at it until we are now funded by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. So it's like 12 years, 13 years. Yeah. It's just constant work. Constant work.
Yeah. And CCA is very active with theater, I think.
Yes.
So salute, yes. Yes. And I think Teater Peta is very important too in the theaters in Philippines. Yes. So I don't know, maybe the situation in Indonesia now with theater is, creative industry is much more beloved now. But in the short time, in the pandemic times, I think in these 2 years in Indonesia, there is at least I know 3 new theater associations in the national scale. So I think if there is 3 associations, we hope that there will be a new wave in Indonesia. I hope it.
Tessa, is there annual playwright every year? I mean,
for genres, fiction, poetry. They have drama in regional, they have drama in English, but they did not.
Who's the organizer? Who's the support?
No, that's
the government
private,
or independent?
The Palaka Awards. It's a private institution.
I see.
Oh, institution.
Private, but there was none this year because I don't think because of the pandemic, I think they did not want to come together for judging. But there is every year.
How about the government?
It's not a competition. There's the NCCA Writers Prize. I know there's that.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different programming. I think they fund you. You have to submit like a few pieces, and then there is a jury that selects, and then you get funding for a full publication. I think that's how it works. The Writers Prize. There is government through the NCCA, but because there are several committees, so there are several ways by which you can get support. The Virgin Lab Fest is funded by the Cultural Center of the Philippines, so that's a totally separate thing.
Okay.
Noel, don't just smile. You can talk. Noel.
I agree to what Ms. Tessa mentioned.
And
do you publish?
Yeah.
Do you publish the playwrights in English or in Tagalog?
If it's written in English, then it's English. It's written in Filipino, then it's written in Filipino. It depends. It depends.
Yeah, but if ever the competition is is held in Manila, we would translate from our local language, our local language to the national language, which is Tagalog, or in English.
In English.
Yeah.
So it's 9:55.
Mhm.
This was supposed to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go because I've been on front of my screen since 7 o'clock in the morning, really. Except when I was walking home. But I'm going to give everyone a bit of homework. A little bit of homework for tomorrow night. Because
teacher.
this is our first cup of coffee together. And I apologize. Like, I'm not that comfortable as a moderator myself. And I just go, especially when I was doing a little bit of translating. Thank you, Yana, for helping to jump in and translate into the chat. So I guess what I'm saying is that we're still finding our way here in this space. So I guess think about what we saw tonight, what we heard tonight, what we read tonight. And maybe tomorrow we talk about whether these works that we saw actually have a place traveling somewhere else other than the countries that or the spaces that they're written for. I mean, that's a very personal question for me because it's something that I think I explained this the other day when I first met all of you, that I'll say it in Indonesian because I think, it's about when I went to Sweden. Jadi saat saya bawa naskah saya ke Swedia, aku merasa malu banget dengan naskah saya karena naskah saya tidak ada tujuan buat panggung Eropa atau panggung besar atau panggung apapun. Sebenarnya tujuannya buat penonton yang ada di Indonesia dalam sosial ekonomi yang ada di sini. Dan aku rasa malu. I don't know, some things are universal. Suicide is a universal thing, but whether or not that can be performed on an Indonesian stage is another question. Yeah. Likewise, I think actually power, talking about power and claiming about power is definitely universal. Dealing with the burden of culture that Herlina, that's tomorrow night. I'm in the future. No. Very strict about whether this has relevancy in another space outside of Indonesia. So we'll have something more to talk about tomorrow. Is it okay if I go?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I have to spend some time with my son.
Before you leave, Karen, tomorrow you starting. It's your play first tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yana?
Yeah.
Okay. Be on time, Yana. Yeah, Yana's reading with me.
Yes.
Okay.
Guys.
And then it will be...
Yeah, I will open the Zoom 20 minutes before 8 o'clock in Indonesian time, in Jakarta time. 20 minutes before I'm open.
And thank you to our juru bahasa isyarat. And Novi, thank you for coming very much. Your presence.
Thank you very much for this evening.
And then, guys,
please introduce yourselves to Novi. Okay. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you, Yana, for translating.
Thank you, Karen.
If you'll excuse me, I must be off too because tomorrow morning I'm teaching a first class.
We'll be ending shortly. Yeah. See you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Teresa, you can stop the record. I cannot stop the record.
I'll stop it. Yeah. Okay.
Ya.
Recording stopped.
Mas Reddy, makasih banyak walaupun banyak trouble ini tadi sempat keluar nih Mas Reddy tadi sempat kelempar.
Ya, sorry. Tadi habis hujan. Because so then my internet is so trouble. Sorry.
Lagi lagi rame musik.
Iya. Ada latihan di rumah.
Oh, lagi latihan.
Kakak di mana ya?
Ya.
Okay.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Tessa, Venice, Noel. We
Thank
meet
you to
again
Roger.
tomorrow. Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Roger. Oh, Roger
So
is
tomorrow, wait,
Thank
tomorrow it's Noel. Noel, you have
What?
reader. Tomorrow, Noel, you have reader.
I asked Denise
Mau
and
izin live ya Bu Lina, punten.
Oh, ya Kak Puri, makasih banget.
Sama-sama, punten.
Ya Kak
Thank
Ragil
you
udah
everyone.
duluan ya.
Miss Tessa, can I also ask you to
Thank you,
read
Kak
the
Puri.
directorial
Of
notes?
course. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sana hindi ako pumalpak like today.
You did not know it.
I'm so palpak. Ayun.
But don't
Thank
ask
you,
me
Miss Tessa.
to read your script, Noel. I don't know how to
can help.
read.
No worries.
No worries.
Okay.
I want to try to read.
Huh?
I want to try to read.
Oh, Penny want try to the opportunity.
Maybe becoming just like Teresa today.
Make a challenge. It's good. Make a challenge. Now we can give some. Before you left, there is a last music perform from TV Kampung that support
Sure.
from the young people. Okay, come on, let's watch it. Mana Mas?
Oh.
Wait a minute. When if you maybe read your local how to read it is the same word to spell. Okay, this is let's we try to watch.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
Anyway.
In other words, fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are my love for all hours at the door. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Please. Okay, now where see you.
Okay.
Yay!
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mas Reddy, for the closing performance. That very nice to closing the day one.
Okay.
Our our
Thank you,
let you all to
everyone.
rest.
Thank you. See you
Thank
Thank you so
tomorrow.
much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Hello,
Congrats.
Bye.
bye-bye.
Congrats.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
everyone.
Congrats. Bye.
Bye. I will